8-year-old little girl. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Gonna keep on walking, keep on marching, marching on freedom way. Ain't gonna let injustice turn me around. Oh, turn me around. It ain't gonna turn me around. Ain't gonna let injustice turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on marching, marching on freedom way. January 11th, 1965. Giant would have gotten up the way she had always gotten up. It was school day. And she got up and she started walking down the sidewalk toward Sylvan Avenue, where she would stand and look left for traffic and look right for traffic, the way she had been taught to do. Well, she did that. Right there at the edge of Sylvan, she looked left and she looked right, and she saw people standing out front of Brown Chapel. They were dressed in such a way that she knew that they were ministers. Wonder what they were doing there. Straight ahead was Clark Elementary School. She was supposed to cross that street and go straight ahead. She couldn't resist. She turned and walked straight toward Brown Chapel. And when she got there, she went inside and sat in the back of the church. She sat there. She was barely noticed by the people there. On reflection, after she had gotten grown, she said that there must have been about 50 people there. But as a little girl, she just was curious. Mr. Hosea Williams was standing at the front of the church. And he said in a glorious voice, "Brothers and sisters, if you do not vote, then you are nothing more than a slave." She listened to many speakers happen that day. In fact, she listened and lost count of time. It was 1 o'clock. She wanted to go back home, but the door was locked. There was nobody at home. And if she went straight across the street to Clark Elementary School, she was going to have to face Miss Louise Bright. Well, she had no choice. She had to go to school. Everybody else had gone to lunch, and she had to go to school. And so she took off for school. She walked through the buildings until she came to the framed building, white framed building, that smelled of chalk. She put her hand on the door. It was a one-room school. So when she opened that door, she was going to be seeing everybody. Everybody's eyes were on her, especially the eyes of Miss Louise Bright. Giant? Yes, ma'am. Where have you been, young lady? Over there. Over there? Over there? Over there at that church? What were you doing at that church? They're meeting on that church, and you could get in trouble. You
not have been at that church. You should have been right here at this school. You wait until I see your mother. Cheyenne stood and she listened, and all of the eyes of the children were on her. And she started to cry. Oh, she did not mean to cry. She stood so straight and she tensed every muscle that she could, and she tried to hold herself bravely, but it was so embarrassing. Finally, she was able to sit down in her chair, and she was able to get through the rest of the afternoon. When she got home, she did what she knew she had to do, and she told her mother that she had missed school for a large part of time, and she told her mother that she had been at Brown Chapel. That's why she had missed school. And that Mr. Hosea Williams was there, and that Mr. Hosea Williams had said that if you don't vote, if you're not registered to vote, that you're nothing more than a slave. Is that right? She asked her mother. Could that be so? Her mother was a beautiful woman. Even after 8 days, she had not gained one bit of weight. She looked the same as she did in high school, and Diane thought her to be most beautiful. Her mother worked for the Selma Apparel Company, making shirts. She was no more than 34 years old at that time. She said, no, not in the same way that our grandmothers were older. But Cheyenne said, and Dr. King was here for Emancipation Sunday on January the 2nd. He said the same thing, and he said that we need an army of men and women and children. Cheyenne listened well. He said that we needed an army of thousands. She loved the way Dr. King said thousands. She said it rolled through the church. Thousands. And she tried to make that sound for her mother. Her mother said, yes, I know, baby, but it's dangerous. You know what happened to the little girls not so long ago. Cheyenne knew. She knew. She didn't know their name, but I did. Denise McNair was one of those little girls. And she was an only child. You see, her mother had her just at menopause. She was a surprise. Yes. And she was very creative. She had written a book, you know, about a little boy who wanted a pet. And she had put children in that book that didn't look like the white children in her book. They were exclusively white, but in her book, the children were all colors. And then there was Addie Collins. Her mother worked and sorted rags. She made $40 a month. $40 a month. She had many children, 8 or 10. And she encouraged them in every way. They were in the band. They were popular. Addie was one of the most popular of them, too.